year-old claims. Are there anomalies out there still? People have been waiting on a decision for that? Yes, there are some anomalies. But over the majority of the claims we have pending right now, claims for disability, our time has greatly improved. Our national goal is 125 days. We're closer to that, but we're not quite there. But at the risk of giving you a complete lesson on what it is that goes into the claim, I would just ask that you understand that there are a lot of folks who do handle them and try to handle them with as much care as possible. Therefore, it's not just a simple assembly line, if you will. The other part of that question had to do with HUD-VASH. And so I'm going to just kind of put that one to the side, and I'll if I can keep moving. Another question regarded Chapter 35 benefits for my sons. How do I get these benefits? Quick little overview on Chapter 30. That was from first? Okay. Quick little overview on that. Chapter 35 benefits are for veterans who are service-connected and considered permanently totally disabled for those connected disabilities. In other words, you're either 100% or you're in receipt of individual unemployability, each payable at the 100% rate. When you're granted that benefit, that notification that you receive includes a packet specific to Chapter 35 benefits. Those Chapter 35 benefits are education benefits in your case for your dependent sons or for your dependent daughters, and they would need to be 23 and in an approved school. If those children are currently on your award for that you're receiving benefits for, they would need to be removed from that award, and for the Chapter 35 benefit, it would be paid directly to them. And that's a whole different process. I don't know if that describes your situation.
Is it your son's the actual veteran, right? Oh, okay, it's for you, okay. Okay, so you're 100% service connected, and the VSO officers here told you needed an attorney.
Have you previously submitted the claim?
So you need help just filling out the paperwork that's in that package.
Oh, you don't need an attorney for that. No. You can choose to use one, but you don't need one.
Okay, so what I think.
Yeah, we can help you with that, sir. I don't know if you have the forms with you, but if you do, I tell you what we'll do is we'll follow up with you and just walk you through it. Does that work? Yes, sir.
So I gave him the card you gave me, and that's got your name and your phone number on it, and Emmett will make sure that someone calls you to help walk you through that process so that you can get the paperwork submitted. Does that work? You got it. Okay, Enrique, I got a couple folks ahead of you, and then I'll come your way. Actually, I'm going to come here in the middle. They give you VBA questions. I mean, you still have a few cards, right?
Yes, I do.
You do, okay.
In response to the issue of the claims, and the question, the question is the VA using something really archaic? Because the IRS, your brethren, manages to process hundreds of millions of income tax returns, and everybody gets their refunds. I know you guys have to work with National Archives, but they claim they still keep all this paperwork in just that paper. And they claim, I mean, I can get the Pony Express to deliver the paperwork faster than what they can send in mail. And as for human review, I mean, your insurance company covers its policies faster than what the VA's do.
Thank you for the question. And what I'd like to say to that is, yes, the IRS does a good job of getting their claim processed. What I would also add that kind of similar to IRS. At one point, they were in a very paper-intensive process. And I don't know how timely it was at that point, but then they transitioned to an electronic processing format. We have done so as well. Now, in regard to the archive records, we still, if those are archive records and they're hard copy records, and that's something that we need to claim, which oftentimes it is, if it's a VA record or a DOD record, we have to go through the channels to get that, so it's part of the record so we can make a decision. And that, in and of itself, can be labor intensive. For our overall processing now, you'll hear us talk about forms, but our processing is heavily based on electronic processing. But it's still, for the most part, there are some exceptions. For the most part, it is all based on a human entering and reviewing that evidence. There are efforts underway to have a rules-based approach, and we do that with some of our dependency claims, and even some first notice of death claims. However, there are still kinks in that, and so I want to try to claim victory on something like that, because oftentimes we still need to have some human interaction with those. So your point is well received, and we are trying to learn from all the other folks who may be further ahead with some of this processing than we are. But in regard to a comparison to an insurance company, I can see that there's certainly a room for a comparison there. But we are also bound by laws and regulations in regard to the processing of a claim, so that we are going to deny a claim, which hopefully we don't have to. We adhere to everything possible, or everything we're required to adhere to deny. Likewise, we have to do the same when we grant. So. I think I know what you're talking about in regard to the authorization, but for instance, if there are private treatment records, we need authorization to go get those. And that's a form that is signed, and until it's signed and received by us, we can't go get those records unless they're submitted directly by the veteran.
Let me give you the mic so we can be a little louder here.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm a veteran, and my husband's a veteran. He was killed in 1986 in the USMC. I'm a widower. I need to say something. We were evacuated from the county building in Santa Barbara, in California. This was a few years back, and I was there with the person that was helping me on the claim that I filed on my husband's death benefits. This was a few years back. And then they had a bomb threat there, and we had to evacuate the building. And the news was down there outside, and they asked me if I wanted to be on the news. And my name is Monica Webster, but I didn't say anything about what I'm about to say right now. Okay, there were checks. There were checks that were from the MIA, Catholic Charities, that they were getting at the day, not that day. This was before that day when we evacuated. I was sitting there in the lobby because I had an appointment there, but not the same appointment that I had this time when we evacuated the building. Okay, I was sitting in the lobby and the door was open, and the people that were working in there were two gentlemen. I heard them speaking. So there were the checks from the Catholic Charities and the MIA, and they had checks there. They had checks there that they got, and then they said get rid of them. So get rid of the check, and that's what I heard. Okay, and then they realized that they left their door open and somebody could have heard them, and I did, and I was in the lobby. I didn't talk to them, and I didn't say nothing. I don't know what more to tell you, but they should research this. And I do have, there is evidence. I don't know what to say.
We'll get your name.
Yeah, check the deposit on their account.
You just need your contact information, see if there's something we can help you with. Did you finish a point too about BVA? Are you good, or do you want to?
Well, the only thing I can say is that due to the slowness of pace, the problem is that there's veterans who are paying other ones like spouses, widows, who are near the end of their lifespan and being World War II spouses who don't have the time to wait 2 years, 3 years.
I understand that, sir, and we certainly don't want anybody to wait longer than they have to. As far as benefits for a spouse based on a veteran's passing and they're claiming death benefits, those are all centrally processed. And the timeliness on those is actually pretty good. That being said, if a person experiences a delay more than most people, it's going to be very frustrating. I understand that. I'm not trying to explain it away. I'm trying to let you know that I do understand it, and we try to get everybody serviced as quick as possible. But we do have workload challenges based on the available resources that we have to handle these. We can't independently just make decisions to hire more personnel. Each office is limited in the number of folks that they have to work cases. And if we could, but we do have some limitations that way as well. It's a resource challenge, but we don't want anybody to have to feel any more discomfort, any more pain, any more delay than they absolutely have to. But we have to also work within the confines of our laws, our regs, and what we need to do to best serve you. It's not always going to be received the same way for veterans, but that is our goal, and that's certainly what we work toward. Where we are today compared to yesterday, we are in a better place, but we want to keep moving forward. There's no victory dance here. It's just keep trying to improve the best we can.
So I got a hand in the back that I'm going to get to in a minute, and I'll come over on this side. But I got Enrique up here up front, and I got you on the list as well. Here's just a general question about Chapter 31. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. So we're not done with them yet. Go ahead, Enrique.
My name's Enrique Chavez. I'm a service officer with the Paralyzed Veterans. Sir, actually on the claims, I do claims all day, and they've improved big time. I can't tell you how fast they come compared to 3 years ago. So I do this every day, and you'd be surprised how quick these claims come. My thing is, as veterans, you try to use a service organization and get yourself a service officer because it helps a lot when you develop the claim in the beginning and send it all in one package versus piecing it out. That's when it drags, because the VA has to legally, like you said, legally have to give you the ability to submit additional evidence. So if you gather up all that together, then send it all in one package. So go with the VSO. It'll streamline things a lot better. And the gentleman over there with the Chapter 35 for his son. Chapter 35, at the colleges, there's going to be a veteran representative there that should handle that paperwork, okay? That college is going to get paid by the VA. So it behooves them to fill out the paperwork so they get paid, okay? So if your kid's in college, hey, they got to step up, be an adult, and say, hey, you need to take that paperwork to the VA, to the representative at the college and have them fill that out, okay? The other thing is, don't just focus on Chapter 35. Remember, here in California, even if you have a 0 rating, your kid's going to get a tuition waiver at a JC, Cal State, or a UC college, okay? So that's one benefit that a lot of veterans understand here in California. That's huge for some of your kids that are in college. So I was going to say one more thing, but forgot. Like I said, use a VSO. They have improved these claims. I can't tell you what a huge difference it is now